今やゴジラの通過した後は炎の海と化し、見渡せばいざ終わ
Bam, what's doing, guys? Back with a fresh final review. Today, I gotta be real careful because I got a lot of fragile stuff up here. But today we're looking at the X-PLUS Real Master Collection, Favorite Sculptors Line, Aggregate Stage Destroyer, okay? So, let's get a couple things out of the way here. This is the RMC, Real Master Collection. It's not really part of the 30 centimeter series, not part of the 25, not even the gigantic series. It's its own thing. The figure, it's super fragile. It's made out of resin, so I'm going to not touch it as much as I possibly can because it's really fragile. It's also really damn heavy, okay? And then we're going to do a little size comparison and whatnot. But yeah, so Real Master Collection, Favorite Sculptors Line, Aggregate Stage Destroyer, okay? Bam! Now, figure came out, what, the fall of 2023? I've had it since it was released. I didn't really get a chance to review it until now because I just got back from kidney donation back in the fall, okay? And here we are. We're finally making it to X-PLUS figures again. How awesome! Isn't it? Yes! Sorry for screaming. You're just going to have to deal with it or turn your mic down or go watch the John Cena Happy Hour. Boom, okay? Alright, so when this figure came out, it was priced at $306. If you're looking at yen, it was about 45,000 yen, which translates to $300, give or take. That's not including the shipping, which was also like $100. So to get it to your door from Japan, you're looking at like $400 something, okay? Now, this was sculpted by a studio called Kokuryu Studios, if I'm pronouncing that right. They produced, as far as I know, this figure, a Final Stage Destroyer, and a Godzilla 95, okay? So let's talk about the other two figures real quick. The Final Stage Destroyer, that came out last year as well. That was priced at $612 and at a massive 64 centimeters tall. That was revealed, I want to say, at one of the Wonderfest last year, one of the toy events in Japan, and we all thought it was like, another gigantic. And we thought it was going to be a gigantic series destroyer. I was like, wow, that thing is massive. I passed on that. I feel like with the 25 centimeter destroyer, that does the trick for me, okay? Then we had the Godzilla 95. I don't think that's even come out yet. I'd have to double check my homework here. But that figure, it's also priced at $612. Whopping price. That figure stands at 37 centimeters tall. So big figures. Big, big, big. And this one, the Aggregate Stage Destroyer, massive. Oh, and I just realized I should have brought my Bandai figure in for comparison. But we'll do that at the end. Alright, so this one you're over here looking at, you're probably wondering, this was the Rick Extra for the 25 centimeter Destroyer. Also an Aggregate Stage Destroyer. They're nearly identical except clearly the size. And I'm going to try to be careful with that one too because they're very fragile. So something about the Real Master Collection figures, statues, if you will, is they're made out of resin. They're fragile. If you drop it, it will shatter into pieces, and we can't have that. That's not fresh. No, okay? But with resin, now let's look at this figure. Let's look at this massive figure. With the resin, you get a much crisper level of detail, deeper detail, something that, unfortunately, vinyl cannot capture as well. There are some vinyl figures that I feel like, wow, that looks resin. But when you see a resin figure, you could just see how crisp the detail is. And this figure has a lot of detail. There clearly, for the Aggregate Stage Destroyer, there's a lot of sharp thorns. Well, yeah, I mean, they're like thorns, horns, thorns, all over the place. From his appendages, to his legs, to his crab-like pincers, to his tail, the back, the head, the neck, everything. There is horns and spikes all over the place, and the resin that is made for this figure here, it's just impeccable. It's stunning. Like when you take it out of the box, it's just stunning. And I'm not even picking up the box. The box is right here, okay? Big ass box with a lot of styrofoam on the inside to protect this thing, as it should. And then when it's inside the box, you got even more protective styrofoam, twisty stuff packaged all up in there so nothing could move. Because again, something could snap and you could have this damaged, and you don't want that. Paint job, exceptionally well. This thing it's dark red and blacks all over the place. It just looks beautiful. And again, I'm not looking at it from my view. All I can see is the back of his body and everything. But look at that face. That is the face, the eyes, the what do you call those pincers? There's a name for that. I can't remember for his mouth and everything. Just disturbing looking. This is not something you want to be walking around, in the middle of the night and seeing in your basement crawling at you, because that's not going to end well, will it? No. All right. But yeah, level of detail and everything on this, it's just disturbing how awesome it is. By far, the best aggregate stage destroyer. We have the small one here, a Bandai 8-inch figure that came out in 1995 with the movie's release, and now this beautiful beast. It's a beautiful son of a bitch, isn't it? Yeah, it is. No points of articulation on this figure. Statue, again. One of the nice features about this, now you don't get it out of the box like this. You have to put a couple things on. So carefully, you pull this off, and they go, it's got this chute there, knob, whatever we're going to call it, wedge, and there's a magnet on that side, and then there's a magnet in the hole where it goes, and it's nicely labeled R for right. But yeah, those go on nicely with magnets. The head, same thing. It's got a nice little magnet in there and a magnet in here. So you put those on and they stay secured. You're not really, you'd have to shake the son of a bitch to really get it off. And I'm not going to move it, but the tail, same thing. All right, maybe I'll move it. So if you're going to pick him up, you're going to want to pick him up right around the back of his head. Straight up, okay? Tail comes off the same way. Careful. Boom, all right? See? Magnet there. There's a magnet on his butt. I'm not gonna mess with that no more. Goes on, and then it gets this heavy-duty stand. It's got a nice felt finish to it so you can protect the figure. Now, when you put it down, you want to make sure you get it lined up properly so it sits on there as it should. And I can't see it because I'm an idiot. I'm going to break it. All right. Yeah, like that. Whee. All right. So, for size comparisons, the 95 30-centimeter Godzilla that we have here, these are not in scale because the figure itself, in the movie, the monster was probably at the 50 meter mark, and Godzilla was at 100. Okay? So, those don't scale, but they look pretty damn cool together. All right? Boom. Now, real quick, we'll look at this one. This is the Rick Extra that came with the 25-centimeter destroyer. This figure, out of scale, but we could almost say it works because the smaller aggregate stage destroyers that were crawling all over Godzilla in the film, those were not as big as that version, as the teenage version, I guess we'll call it, right? Right. So they scale okay from a perspective, mind you. All right, up next, we got the 25-centimeter destroyer. Again, these do not scale well, but they look awesome together. Okay? Sue me. All right. And here's a picture of all three aggregate stage destroyers. We got the Rick Extra, the Bandai 8-inch from 1995, and, of course, the focus here is the RMC FSL Destroyer aggregate stage. Bam! Okay? All right, that's really all there is to it. If you got the funds, I don't even think it's available anymore for order. You were able to get it off the Rick US site and the Japanese Godzilla store. But I think they're all sold out now. So, anyways, when you put it on your shelf, you want to make sure you put it on your stand nice and secure. And you don't want him wobbling, but you want to be careful of his legs. So, be careful. And that is that. I hope you enjoyed this review. I enjoyed the figure. I'm going to go put him back on the shelf and not touch him and just enjoy staring at him. Bam. That's what's up. Definitely a 10 out of 10 for me. Glad I got it. And final thoughts was I wasn't going to get it because I was like, damn, it's like $300, but here we are. Glad I got it. I love the Aggregate Stage Destroyer. And that's all I got to say about that. Alright, people, see you on the next Fresh Vinyl video. Remember, buy vinyl, fresh vinyl. Bam!